Welcome back, Business Freedom Podcast listeners. Excited about, I think this is like the 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 5th episode in our current mini-series on how do you make what's in your head, what you want for your business and your life, how do you translate it into actual, like real world, this is the life I'm living in the business that I'm running. And so we started with a conversation about, regrets. Like, will I have regrets? And that was 3 or 4 episodes ago. Will I have regrets if I stick with the current plan? If you don't have a plan, I promise you'll have regrets. And so we need to really deal with this. What was your plan 3 years ago, and did you achieve it? And if you didn't have a plan 3 years ago, you've got to stop everything and get clear on where you're going. Then I talked about the 8 things you must know about crushing your goals, both personally and professionally. Last episode, I talked about the key mindset shifts, critical part of your ability to, conceive something and then actually achieve it. I talked about that Napoleon Hill quote that I just embodied this quote: what the mind of man can conceive and believe it can achieve. And so it starts with conception. Then you have to believe it. That's what we covered on the last episode. And then you can achieve it. So conceive, believe, achieve. That is the mantra. Conceive, believe, achieve. Today, I want to get into, breaking down your goals into the 4 key business drivers. So I want you to keep in mind this concept, and this is a real estate B school thing, this concept of drivers, accelerators. So 3 levels. First level is drivers, second level is accelerators, the third level, tools and systems. So Real Estate B School, we pride ourselves on bringing real world tools and systems that help you accelerate in the areas of your business that drive growth. So that's kind of a way to think about it from bottoms up. Everybody thinks they want systems. They don't really know a lot of times I find that they really don't know what they mean by that. And this construct of drivers, accelerators, and then tools and systems is a conversation we're going to have today. So breaking down your goals, breaking down your growth into the 4 key business drivers. And so the conversation I want to have around this specifically is, there's something, one of the questions I get asked the most probably, because we're a company that helps, team leaders, small, medium, and large, scale their businesses so it doesn't revolve around them. So they're not a genius with 1,000 helpers, they're an actual business owner. And even if you want to stay in production, the conversation is still the same conversation. So the question is, how do I scale my business, with sustainable systems and empower people? So I do have, true time and money freedom, and I have empowered team members that are crushing it and achieving their goals. Our clients are getting world-class service, all of it. It's this virtuous cycle of do a great job for clients and team members. They take care of each other, and we got good testimonials, internal and external, to brag on, to bring new team members on and new clients on. So that's the sort of big picture of business, and that goes for any industry really. And there's 2 models I want to talk about today. And so if you look at, and even if you want a deeper dive on this, you can go to realestatebschool.com, and I think it's live. It's a masterclass I did on the traditional model versus the scale model. So you can go to realestatebschool.com, and it's a real deep dive on it. It's like midway through the website. It's traditional versus scale, and then you register for the masterclass. I'm going to do my best to give it to you in 8 to 10 minutes. So think drivers, accelerators, and then tools and systems. And so the first, I'm going to call this the traditional model, and it's attract, convert, deliver. So those 3 drivers, attract, convert, and deliver, are necessary for any business to work, right? You need to attract high quality, in our case, buyers and sellers. You need to convert them to buyer and seller clients. You need to deliver a service that is referral worthy. And so in order to get time and money freedom and less stress, you need to do this in a way where it doesn't rely on you. So if you can't attract clients, you won't have opportunity. If you can't convert leads, you won't have clients. And if you can't deliver, you'll have no money, right? You won't get to the closing table consistently. And so the problem with most real estate agents is that they're the one attracting, they're the one converting, they're the one delivering. And so they're inevitably in this vicious cycle, not a virtuous cycle, a vicious cycle where they're literally a slave to the business. So the REVS model, the scale model as we call it, has the fourth driver, which is scale. Table the fourth driver for a second. Let's focus on attract, convert, deliver. There are things you must have in your real estate business in order to build out this, even the traditional model, attract, convert, deliver, in such a way where it doesn't revolve around you. And so when you think of the attract driver, there's three accelerators that you have to focus on: database marketing, listing marketing, and buyer marketing. I'm not going to go into the tools and systems, the specific tools and systems. We talked about the three levels. We talked about the drivers, the accelerators, and the tools and systems. For each of those accelerators, those three are database marketing, listing marketing, and buyer marketing. There's probably 3 or 4 tools and systems that we help our members install in their business that gives them this lift, this ability to build it out in a way where those things don't revolve around you. So an example in database marketing is, I'll pick on Popeyes. You know, I learned Popeyes by Brian Buffini when I first joined RE/MAX back in late 2007. And I'm like, Popeyes doesn't, not only do I don't think I'll like doing it, it doesn't seem like I could scale it. And so I'm like, that's not going to work. So that's an example of building an element of your database marketing accelerator in a way that's not scalable. And I suppose you can teach all of your agents to Popeye, and I don't know. For me, it didn't feel like it was scalable because your database is always going to expect to hear from you. And so I built out a database marketing platform and system that didn't rely on me, that'll do 7 figures consistently at GCI in my business. And it's our touch system. And it's high emotion, high quality, high value, that I'm not involved in at all, really. I'll shoot some videos. I shoot a couple videos a month. Less than an hour a month do I have involved in our database marketing system. That's a good example of a leverage versus non-leveraged. So as you go through, and I'm going to go through the accelerators for the other 2 drivers in the traditional model here in a second. As you think through some of this, think about how you're doing it and is it leverageable? Can you build leverage around it so you're not the one having to do it? And so in the convert driver, there's 3 accelerators that you have to think about if you're going to build a leverage business: lead management, appointment setting, and the consultation process. And these, like, you generate a lead and you don't set an appointment right away. What's your lead management follow-up process, protocol, procedure? Appointment setting process, what is that looking? What are the scripts that you use with Sphere, with buyers, with sellers, and how do you set those appointments to make sure you get the highest show rate? And the consultation process, how do you sit down with buyers? How do you sit down with sellers? Is it in office or is it at home? Are you showing homes, which I don't think you should do, to buyers before they're loyal clients? And can that consultation happen without you and convert at a high level? All right. So there's a whole bunch of tools and systems in there that I won't go into. You get the point though. The drivers convert and the accelerators are lead management, appointment setting, and consultation process. The next one is the deliver driver. Every business, the most important thing is to deliver the thing you promised in a manner by which the folks that are receiving the service, the delivery component, are just blown away. That is the way to win in business in the future, especially in real estate, where we're being disrupted in so many ways by technology, by consumers, their shifting preferences, by the iBuyer shift, and then an economic shift that's coming soon. You know, what is your response going to be? So the response that I've seen work in other industries is to go high service, the Ritz of real estate, you know, that world-class service sort of thing. And the accelerators in the deliver driver, bear with me with all the lingo, is client servicing, transaction management, and critical tech tools. For client services, how do you actually work with a buyer client? How do you actually work with a seller client in a way that is leveraged and you're not involved? And this doesn't require a ton of people. You know, we'll do 3 million plus GCI this year, same last year. 12 people, 12, 13 people, you know, half sales, half admin, a couple runners, so 5, 5, and 2. So it's not like it's this monstrous business. And we're about a 10,000 average commission check, so you can do the math on how many transactions. That's a real sweet spot for our market, that size business. Of course, we want to grow. We don't want to sacrifice complexity in the business to grow, and we don't want to sacrifice profit margins and all that good stuff. So that's client servicing. And then you have transaction management. How do you close transactions where you don't get salespeople dragged back into the deal? So sales can focus on selling. And then we have critical tech tools. There's less than a handful of technology tools that you need to employ in your business and stay consistent with them to build a business that is really foundationally strong. So that is the traditional model. The three drivers are attract, convert, deliver. And I went through those accelerators. I mentioned some of the tools. So the scale model, this is something that I'm really, really passionate about at Real Estate B-School. This, to me, once you build out those traditional drivers, attract, convert, deliver, and the accelerators we talked about, we shift over into, all right, now let's talk about how do you scale that foundationally solid thing that doesn't run as much without you. The first, I would say, accelerator in the scale, I'm going to go a little different here because I've got a visual that I'm working through that you'll see if you take the masterclass. The first accelerator in the scale driver is create your future. Create your future. If you don't create your future, you are rudderless. You have no direction. The second accelerator is to know your numbers. If you don't know your numbers, you'll never have predictability. And the third accelerator is to grow your team. If you don't grow your team, you won't have sustainability and you'll come back into business. And we're not talking about a 40-person team to sell 400 homes. You know, we're talking about a closely knit, systems-driven group of people that are all working in the same direction. So a little bit not traditionally what's taught out in other coaching companies from what I understand. And so that's the scale driver is create your future, know your numbers, grow your team. And then create your futures, you know, getting clear on the model that you're following, orienting your business to put your life first and planning your future. And you've got a clear process for that. Knowing your numbers is determining your economic model. You know, there's some foundational financial tools that we'll put in place, and then ultimately achieving financial freedom, using your business to help you achieve financial freedom. And then grow your team is all about identifying and attracting talent, hiring and onboarding talent, and then the cadence and culture in your business that's ongoing daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annually, and building all of that out. And I will say this, now that I'm sort of finished with this one-sided conversation, you don't have the ability to ask any questions. I realize this was a lot, and it's important that you understand sort of, I do this podcast to touch, you know, thousands of folks that I probably won't ever directly be in business with, and through a formal relationship with Real Estate B-School. Those of you that are at the point where you really like this conversation, you really see these four drivers and the accelerators and the tools and systems and how that framework would benefit you, then something is hopefully clicking in you, and you're the person that I want to talk to. And I don't say that, I mean, that sounds kind of cheesy as it came out. What I mean is that you know if this is something that is gonna, this is something that's gonna work in your world. You've already achieved that level of success that is traditionally sort of top agent, small team, 500,000 GCI, 1 million GCI, 1.5 million GCI, and the thing just isn't running as smoothly as it could. It's because you don't have a way to look at your business to know which area is strong and which area is weak. And that's the real power of how we use this driver accelerator model, is for us to really look at what's strong in the business and what's weak in the business. And especially in that attract, convert, deliver, how much of those three drivers, those primary drivers and the accelerators under them, how much of it really revolves around you versus how much of it is happening without you, which is critically important for you to be able to scale your business. And I'm gonna leave you with a little bit of you know, just a thought-provoking question here. And I want you to think about this as you sort of contemplate, maybe as you finish your run or as you get settled in work. I want you to think about what are the top 3 reasons you want to build a sustainable real estate team. When I use the word sustainable, it's a comment about like how much of the business really depends on you. Doesn't mean you have to build it in a way where you never go there. Doesn't mean you ever have to get down to 1 day a week. Doesn't mean you even have to exit production. Is the business really sustainable? So what are the 3 reasons you want to build a sustainable real estate team? Maybe it's more time with family. That was my motivator. I want to be a great husband and a great father, and I want to be available in a way that I didn't have as a kid. And so that was really my driver. And then it became, I want to create experiences for my family, time away from the business. That kind of became the next level. And then it quickly became like, how can I serve my team members in a way? How can I use this business to impact their lives in a meaningful way? How can we use it to impact our community through our compassion program? How can I now use these business assets that are throwing off more cash than I need to impact my community? I get to the church. I get to things I'm really passionate about. There's in Charlotte alone, in Greater Charlotte, a 2.2 million metro population, like 10,000 homeless children in our 7-county MSA, which is crazy. And so that's just a passion of mine that now I'm able to really impact that through financial giving. And so what are the top 3 reasons that you want to build a sustainable real estate team? If you have, material things that you want to bless your family with a bigger house, you want to, buy a nicer car, you want to, go to Hawaii for 2 weeks and be able to bless your family and spend time away from the office. What are the 3 reasons you want to build a sustainable real estate team? And then, as with every conversation we have through this podcast, I do feel like I'm having a conversation with you in your head. Hopefully that's what this is doing for you. If there's a next step for you, just go to realestatebschool.com. The entry point into our world is our pilot program. So there's a brief application that you'll fill out. You'll know if you're a fit. Like you're going down this path of building a real estate team, and it's not working quite the way that you thought, or you don't have this roadmap, you're not clear on what the plan is, then this thing is for you. Go to realestatebschool.com. Application for the pilot program is evident everywhere. So I'll see you there, and I'm excited for you. And so just spend a little bit of time here, thinking about why do you really want to do this? Why do you want to build this thing out in a way where it has a life without you? And we'll talk to you soon.